Genesis X2 was hyped as the biggest Smash tournament of 2025, and man did it not disappoint. On the Melee side, Hungrybox won his first Super Major in over 2 years with a pop-off for the ages. But for Ultimate, we saw a masterclass performance from one region specifically. Taking 5 out of the top 8, Japan put the entire world on notice, fully cementing themselves as the strongest region in the world. Heck, even Japanese players who didn't make the final bracket had crazy moments. Toriguri knocked Spargo into loser's bracket, which ultimately caused a finish at 17th, while Umeki dropped Sonics to finish at 17th as well. However, none were nearly as impressive as E36 Hurt, taking the tournament without a single loss in top 8 and only dropping 3 games for the entire tournament. This is arguably the most dominant performance in Genesis history. But what did he do to achieve this perfect run? Did he really just spam grenades? And is Snake the perfect counter to Minecraft Steve? Let's rewind back to winter semis, going up against a familiar foe in T. This will also shed some light on the core fundamentals Hurt will ride all the way to Grands. Right off the bat, we see just how mechanically sound Hurt is, but what's even more incredible is his mastery on platforms. Hurt plays a game of attrition and patience, cutting off portions of the stage so he can set up the rest of his tools and gather more data as his opponents respond to them. The C4 on the platform is textbook Snake neutral, essentially cutting off a third of the stage and punishing any messy approaches. The grenade at center stage further cements this point, as this cuts off the main location where players want to jump and meet Snake on the platform. This inherently forces opponents to either wait it out, which gives Hurt more time to set up, or force a reckless approach that Snake is well equipped to punish. Here he immediately sets a grenade in the middle, arms the platform with C4, which is where he retreats, and baits out an unsafe aerial from T that blows both of them up. Here we again see the middle stage grenade into platform C4, providing a ridiculous amount of pressure, but notice how when T commits to the approach, Hurt reacts with a double jump detonation. This setup is incredibly strong, as it not only forces a late aerial, but also gives him just enough time to pull a grenade to punish. Platforms also provide value as a place to retreat and recover. He converts nicely on this dash attack, but then immediately takes to the sky to avoid any threat from Kazuya. Note the double jump to boost his momentum to make it to the platform. And in the literal next interaction, T calls him out with a well-timed neutral special, but again, Hurt prevents the juggle with C4 and gets a free landing to reset neutral, which ultimately leads to a 40% conversion. This is another recovery scenario. Hurt goes high again, but he also notices T's attempt to chase off the top. This prompts Hurt to start falling right now, roll back to center stage, and snags the double jump, which opens the door for a textbook edgeguard to secure game 1. Game 2 was more of the same. T gets a clean grab out of the trade, Hurt goes high, which again baits a chase, he falls early to regain stage control, and now T's stuck on the platform with a desperate air dodge and an up tilt kill. Once again, we have the center stage grenade, but this time Hurt follows with a middle C4 as an insurance policy. He mixes T with a beautiful B reverse before proceeding to schmix him to close game 2. Aside from this, Hurt's fundamentals were great the entire tournament. This crawl gathers more data on T's out of shield while keeping him safe from a grab, and notice how he throws an early grenade to where he wants to land before dropping his C4 to fully deter any chase. This also saw success against much faster characters. Hurt converts nicely with Nikita, and again goes high with C4 on the platform to burn Cola's invincibility. His projectile awareness is also incredible. He mixes nicely with a B reverse C4, calls out T with a parry neutral air, starts up smashing to cover the ledge, drops a grenade early only for T to throw it back, but wait, he weak dash attacks which perfectly connects into the nade and continues to push advantage. This is a world-class performance of tech and basic fundamental Smash. Hurt takes the set in 3-0 fashion, but it isn't until winners finals and grands where we see something we haven't seen before. Perhaps the best character in the game may have met his match. Steve is inarguably the best character in Smash Ultimate. No one has his combination of touch of death combos, frame data, and game-breaking mechanics to keep pace. Why am I saying this? Well, because Hurt single-handedly blew the world's best Steve to smithereens. Not to spoil the result, but Hurt danced his way to not one, but 2 straight 3-0s on Akala. Many have blamed the loss on Akala's lack of Snake experience, and while I won't argue against that, there is quite a lot that Snake brings to the table that puts Steve's game plan in jeopardy. Kicking things off, we see just how damaging Snake's grenades are in this matchup. One explosion is enough to destroy Akala's wall, but also look how it stops Minecart in its tracks. With just one move, Hurt has the ability to turn 2 of Akala's main tools against him, and we've only just begun. Hurt can cook the grenades, which can make mining difficult, and we saw Akala take a ton of chip damage for just getting resources. Hurt isn't worried at all about the minecart here, and he punishes Akala's approach with C4 to complete the 0 to death. And it isn't just in neutral where we see an advantage. Snake's ability to bypass ledge traps prevents another Steve's strength. Akala finally lands a hit here, but Hurt just flies overhead, mixing with B reverse nades and C4, which are even better here since Steve can't catch up to him. Score another one for C4. To make things even worse for Akala, Hurt was very clearly practiced in the matchup. He finally gets caught in the minecart here, but rather than immediately double jump ciphering, he double jump grenades to catch it and stall Akala's blocks? What is going on here? Akala is desperately trying to find a way in, note the classic platform C4 and middle stage nade setup, but when he finally lands an up smash, Hurt escapes with yet another grenade to combo break. Understandably, Akala opts for Final Destination to remove Hurt's platform pressure, but look how difficult it is for Steve to build his walls and mine. Hurt also started lobbing his grenades over the wall to pressure, and it's this game where we see another huge advantage for Snake, as his back air has enough priority to flat out clank with the anvil, not to mention it also beats out minecart. One spot dodge read later, and Hurt is up 2-0. Akala started showing signs of life in Game 3, but it was quite literally too little too late, as Hurt punches his ticket to Grand Finals with the craziest timeout I've ever seen. Being as resilient as he is, Akala eventually fought his way to Grands for the run back, which is great since it gives us another opportunity to see how Hurt played this matchup to a T. Here's yet another high recovery situation, but this time the grenade that was meant to cover Hurt's landing tragically detonates the TNT, making for a crazy first stock. Fast forward to Game 2, we see Hurt piling more chip damage onto Akala. This stutter step dash attack was great, and look how he places himself between 2 grenades. This forces Akala to land right on Snake, and we all know what an up tilt can do. Yet another sensational stock. This game ends with an insane forward air offstage, and by Game 3, Hurt was already feeling himself. He has literally half the stage covered with grenades and C4, and this leads to 2 clean back air combos that finally results in a call out of the minecart. Add one more stock from C4, and Hurt caps off the best Genesis performance I've ever seen. I mean, this was essentially a montage of Snake fundamentals and matchup specific advantages to Ultimate's notorious Blockman. So, what's going on here? Was Akala just playing poorly, or is Snake a legitimate counterpick to the best character in the game? To answer this, let's rewind to Game 3 of Winners Finals, as this is where Akala's signature adaptations started kicking in. Remember how Hurt was able to easily lob grenades over the walls to pressure? Well, Akala responded with a second wall and built them 4 blocks high to prevent lobs over the top. This is a snowball effect, as it not only gives Akala more time to breathe, but also allows him to mine for better resources to make stronger walls. Iron blocks are taking 2 grenades to break, even worse when built 4 blocks high. Furthermore, Akala developed a cadence to minecart when Hurt started pulling out a grenade, the main time when Snake is vulnerable. This was great positioning to avoid the front grenade, while this was a nice call out on the jump to gain a temporary lead. Note the 4-block wall again. I personally find these adaptations very interesting, because it not only shows Akala's impressive ability to adjust his game plan, but also how Steve still has legitimate counterplay to Hurt's pressure. I still think this matchup is even, with potential to swing slightly towards Snake, and only time will tell what this matchup looks like when fully optimized. But if the matchup really is even, why did Hurt dismantle Akala's game plan so well? This is only my speculation, but I think there were two key factors here. For one, Hurt was clearly more prepared for the matchup. We just covered the specific recovery techniques and well-timed aerials for this, and even seeing how often he just ate grenade chip damage, I don't think Akala has labbed Snake to that extent yet. Not to mention, Hurt was playing hot the entire tournament, only losing 3 games for the weekend is crazy, really only comparable to runs from Spargo and MK Leo. Akala was also just missing a lot of key conversions that would have turned the tide of the set. He dropped a lot of his up tilt combos, and these are vital for Steve in any matchup. Sure, he still is getting 40 to 50%, but part of what makes Steve so broken is his ability to combo you to kill percent. That's not going to cut it, especially against a heavy like Snake. And he fumbled some very crucial interactions. Hurt badly overextends here, which is normally a free up smash to take game 2, but he opts for a grab, which gives Hurt another chance to win. But as always, hindsight is 20/20, and at the end of the day, the more prepared player won, bringing an end to Genesis X2, and an incredible run by the best Snake in the world. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something useful. If you did, let me know by leaving a like and subscribing for more Smash Ultimate content. Shameless plug here, but I actually made a pretty fun guide on Snake if you're interested in picking him up. Huge thank you to Genesis for not only hosting such an awesome event, but also providing the VODs for us to analyze. If you're interested in watching Smash at the highest level, be sure to check them out. Channel links are in the description. If there's a player you want me to cover, let me know in a comment below. That's all I have for now. Congratulations, Hurt, for an amazing run, and I will see you all next time.